Thanks for clicking on this video. This is Captain Paul from TSP. I appreciate if you could like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us with the algorithm and just helps us grow. This video is a short clip from our longer form podcast that will be linked down below. If you do enjoy these clips, I would greatly appreciate it if you subscribe for more of our content. So, with no further ado, get into the video.
Another example of a celebrity being a target for no good reason. The curious case of Johhny Depp.
Though this case has been going really viral, a lot of people talking about it, and some pretty damaging shit's coming out, and it's not about Johhny.
I'm very you know, one of the things that I think, you know, when we knew we wanted to create male centric content, I was thinking about this because one of the things that really stuck out to me is it took him recording Amber Heard in order for people to see that she was the abuser, she was the aggressor. And the words that she used in that recording made me fucking sick. Yep. Oh, I'm only 115 pounds. I'm a girl. I'm a girl. Who's going to believe you? And, you know, I kind of put this story on the back burner, but now that sense is up in, you know, the modern consciousness. There's two things that really stick out to me about this. Number one, after all of this has gone on, where, you know, especially since the recording of that you know, that was leaked.
Yep.
Guess who's getting movie roles and guess who's not?
Amber Heard and not Johhny Depp.
Yeah. And it really,
so like,
man, it makes me really angry.
But the thing is right. So for people that don't know about this story, I'll kind of wrap it up as briefly as possible. Amber Heard essentially accused Johhny Depp of DVing her, right? Or DAing, whatever you want to call it. And turns out, long story short, that Heard was the one DVing Johhny, not the other way around. That famous incident where was kind of, when it came out about his thumb being, or one of his fingers kind of being severed off the tip, was kind of portrayed of him being on like some high cocaine or like alcoholic binge. Turns out that she was the one, allegedly, that threw a couple bottles at him and then eventually, like, it severed the top of his finger. Like, she's the one that did that to him.
Yep.
And it also is coming out with some of, like, even former lovers, and mind you, ex-wives of Johhny Depp, saying that in her 25 years together with Johhny, he was never, ever abusive, right? And all his past relationships,
what do you call it? Receipts.
Yeah, all his past relationships and other girls, even girls like friends, like none of them ever prone to anger, never prone to like violence, right? On the flip side, Amber Heard, her own former ex assistant, she spit in the face of when she tried to have a talk about her salary and how, like, you know, she needed to pay her money, spit her in the face and say, "How dare you talk to me like you need that salary," right? Continual stories of Amber Heard being just a disgusting human being. The one thing that's the only saving grace in any of this, if you look for Heard, is that when they went to a couples therapist, the couples therapist said, like, oh, well, there was, you know, DV or DA, right, all around this case, right? Like, on both sides, that, like, with, you know, Heard would apparently showed up with bruises and stuff like that, or showed pictures of bruises to the therapist, but there was no evidence Johhny actually did that, you know. On the flip side, the therapist would hear essentially her berate and kind of belittle Johhny, right? And
because that is definitely the hallmark of a woman who's being abused by a man she fears.
absolutely,
She berates him and belittles him.
and
Yeah.
the video that was kind of played, or the audio recording about her like admitting to like, oh, I'm not punching you, I'm hitting you, and then you're just a big baby for that. And then there's also the case of her chasing. If Johhny was such a scary individual, why would she chase him into several different bathrooms and bedrooms? Why? If he was so damn abusive, that makes no sense. If someone's inherently afraid of the other party, wouldn't they split off that? Right? Wouldn't they, in that moment of rage, go away from that?
Yeah, they would call their friends, they would call their sister or their mom, help me get out of here. I'm a DV victim. You know, he's doing this to me. But the thing is, she can't bring anybody that says that she came to them and confided in them that any of this happened.
I'll just say this: it is kind of disheartening in a way that, you know, you can see how much trauma that Depp has went through. It even went into his sister went on the stand talking about how abusive Johhny Depp's own mother was to him. Hitting him, verbally
which
abusive.
Makes him more prone to accepting that.
Exactly. You know? And he even said, like, it was like married to my own mother. So it was a very moving trial. And you can see, like, this proud man, right? This formerly very proud man, like top of the world type actor. He was on top of the world. And if you just watch his demeanor in the courtroom and just his body language throughout, like, he's just very uncomfortable. Like, you can kind of deal with him, like, talking about these past traumas that's bothering him from the footage. And it just seems like with her, anytime emotion tries to put like crying, it just looks fake, right? And I know some people, right? I know some people like, oh, don't know if it's true or not. If it's true tears, you just could be, you know, jumping to conclusions. But with all the evidence that's come out throughout this whole timeline, throughout this whole court case, friends of Johhny Depp, past lovers, friends, all this, and, you know, vice versa with Heard, Heard's looked way worse in this whole scenario. And this is a civil case. You know, this is like libel. So I think at the end it's gonna be very difficult, I think, for either one of them to really completely win in this, because at the end of this, like, Johhny Depp's reputation, regardless, if he's vindicated, there's gonna be some people
gonna be destroyed anyway.
There's gonna be some people out there that are gonna always have that viewpoint of him. And it's absolutely unfair. And I think, you know, this kind of goes to the greater issue in society where we had this weird phase, or we still do, about believe all women. And I'm like, no, like, you need to come forth with some evidence. I need to see what you're talking about. Like, I'm not saying to take your accusations and like throw them out the window.
But let's examine them.
Let's examine them and let's find out the facts. And it just seems like in today's society, it's like believe all women. And it led to this, right? Yep. If we had a society that was based on gathering facts and going by the truth, we would have let this case play out, and we would have seen how disastrous, right, Heard was to Johhny. But now, because we live in a reactionary society, Johhny Depp lost all these roles, lost all his reputation. She essentially ended his career.
Oh, yeah. Lutch says, Depp has always been soft-spoken, but now he talks like the next Will Smith, except he's not that much of a bitch. He's just with a super crazy chick. I think there might be a little bit something to this. I think that, you know, the information that Captain Paul provided here really kind of nailed it down. You know, him growing up with an abusive mother, it just made him more susceptible to being to seeking out an abusive type woman, because Amber Heard had already had criminal charges filed against her prior to her relationship with Johhny Depp for domestic violence against a female partner of hers.
Yeah,
that happened before she got with Johhny Depp.
Yeah.
So, you know, the thing is with a lot of guys, you know, who, you know, have been emasculated by their mothers, and I know too much about that, okay, from experience. It makes it much more likely that you're going to get with a woman who will be demeaning to you in your manhood. So, women who fear men, they don't, they're not constantly trying to emasculate them, because they would have a real fear that he would do something to them. And, the thing that got me with the recording is the whole, I'm a 115-pound girl.
Yeah.
They're going to believe me. Nobody's going to believe you. And that is abuser talk.
Absolutely.
That's abuser talk, y'all. So here comes the second problem that I have with the situation. Now, you would think that I would be happy about this, right? Social media flooded with Johhny Depp support amid defamation case against Amber Heard. Now, technically, it's a positive development, but there's something underlying this. Okay, if this is Johnny Damon with the same facts, he's going to get support. If it's Ben Affleck with the same facts, he's going to get support. If it's Denzel Washington with these facts, he's going to get support. Brad Pitt, he's going to get support. But what if he was Captain Paul? Same facts.
No, I wouldn't. That's a problem in society, kind of underlying what I was talking about, is that we live in this weird society where it's believe all women, even if the facts are all stacked up against them.
Except if it's a heartthrob, multimillionaire, super famous actor. Now, if we have an opportunity to finally get some justice for men in general, to kind of open up the understanding that DV is not a gendered issue. In fact, it's a very, very tiny, slight majority of domestic violence that is instigated by women in heterosexual relationships. It's like 50.1% to like 49.9%. It's real close to even.
Mm-hmm.
And the highest rates of DV belongs to not just same-sex couples, but female to female same-sex couples. They report a way higher rate of DV than male-on-male relationships and heterosexual relationships, right? But the narrative has always been women can only be victims and men can only be perpetrators.
Yep.
But we didn't see a whole lot of that. Here, especially after the recording.
Well, a lot of it comes down to, you, like you said, person's famous, a heartthrob, people love him, like millions of fans. So it puts it into a different context where you'll have some people, like there was a UCLA student that got accused of EPARP, and they got vindicated, proved out the girl admitted that she was lying. He was still kicked out of school. He was still removed from all of his dreams. His social life was destroyed. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad Depp is getting the justice, and hopefully gets the justice he deserves, even if it's just in the social media realm. But we need to have more open and honest conversations when it comes to DA with women against men. And just because that's not cool, there's this perception that it's only men, which is not true. It's absolutely not true. The statistics, like you say, play out to be far different than that. So what we need to do in today's society is stop being so reactionary, let the facts fucking play out, and go from there. We can't be destroying young men's lives over false accusations. And if you falsely accuse someone of these acts, you should get the prison sentence that they were going to get for committing it. That's just my opinion. But, we need to hold these false accusations to a high standard. Shouldn't be allowed. If you're going to destroy someone's life, well, fuck it. The sentence they were going to get, possibly to go to jail, that's what you get for purposely lying.
Well, can I take it a step further and
Mhm.
say that we need to encourage more men and young men to get used to filing police reports?
Mm.
She spits in your face, she slaps you, she scratches you. You take the photo, you walk to the police station. Because I think that a lot of times men, they keep the stereotype going by not reporting these things. A lot of times guys that don't defend themselves, they'll walk away, they'll leave the apartment, they'll do whatever to get away, but they don't go to the police station, they don't call the cops, right?
Mm.
And I think that the first thing that you should do is, I think the thing that you should do is file the police report, take the pictures. Take the pictures of your injuries, file the police reports, because if you don't follow the police report, you're opening up the opportunity for her to file something in the opposite way.
Absolutely.
There was I forget who the case was, but there was one. It might have been Amber Heard, who was punching herself in the face to create bruises.
Yep. That's
Right?
wild. That's fucking wild.
Like
It's just gonna snowball for Heard. Depp has gone on the record. He has no interest ever doing the Pirates of the Caribbean again.
yeah, I think he
No-
doesn't like being
no-
treated the way he got treated. in
No
all of it.
interest in doing anything with Disney again. I mean, by the way, you shouldn't because they're groomers. But one of those things that, like, hey, it's good that he's gonna get some vindication in some way, but let's not lose track of the fact that this dude's life was completely, essentially, upheaved, and his career was ended essentially because of these actions. And Heard should have to feel the emotional and the financial damages for that. Because she'll still be able to act after this.
Yeah, because she will not get canceled, no matter what she
will
does.
not. Women do not get canceled. She will still act, right? She'll do this. You'll still have some women on some bullshit supporting it. And to be fair, us as men, we don't always stick along with this shit. We don't keep up with this over time. So this will fade away into the ether. So Heard's DA, right, and DV will be looked at in a far different light than Depp's. Heard's will be forgotten because, she's just a woman. She couldn't do that much. Where Depp's will always, among ignorant people, always be like, oh, what a violent, evil human man, So let's just not lose sight of that fact that Heard ended this dude's career, and she'll still be able to get tons of acting roles easily.
Our crack producer, Clinks, she was smirking throughout the trial as well. Okay? Amber Heard got a free pass for her lies and violence for 6 years. This gender bias must end now. Make her accountable for her actions. And, I just think that it's something that we need to do as a society. It's really important that we as a society hold everybody accountable, not just women but men in general. Shout out to Rakita Law for his daily live coverage of the trial. Also to the lead attorney who has also been covering the trial as well.